Hey everyone, welcome to today's Facebook and YouTube Live. It is Valentine's Day weekend. I am so excited to be hopping on here for a quick Facebook and YouTube Live. So, as always, do be sure to say where you are from. And it is just fun to see everybody. I look forward to Wednesdays where I get to gather together with some pretty cool ladies. And I am just busy in the middle of just a full week, I guess, with work. Marge is the first person I'm seeing over on Facebook. Welcome. Glad you were here. And we've got people hopping on over on YouTube. So glad to see you guys. We have got Valentine's week coming up this week. So I would love to know, you guys, what are your plans for Valentine's weekend here? Some people celebrate Valentine's Day with just like their girlfriends and they call it Galentines, which I think is pretty fun. Becky Johnson is tuning in as well as Susan. Hi, Melissa Peterson. She's just joined us as well. And Amy Mixto says, Hi, Jamie. It's Amy from Tampa. Welcome. And Sandy is from Baldwinville, New York. Welcome. And Jen Hansen is from Mount Pleasant, Utah. Susan Carnes has just tuned in as well over on Facebook. Welcome. Glad you guys are here. If you are just tuning in and you don't know who I am or my family, my name is Jamie Scott, and I am the mother of 7 kids, 5 of which are quintuplets, and they are almost turning 8. So if you're brand new here, welcome. Glad you were here. Judy's tuning in from Oregon. Hi, Judy. Glad you were here. So let's just dive on in here. I had a few questions come in, so we'll cover those here in a minute. But I have just been busy with kind of behind the scenes with like work and business stuff. So I haven't been posting a ton just because that's taking up a lot of my time right now. But I'm just about done with all of that. So I will be sharing and posting some of the things that we have been up to over the last little while. So I do feel like I am playing catch up. But it is nice to hop on here and just like catch you guys up with where we're at as a family and how we're doing and all the things. My kids have had another growth spurt. So if you've been watching and viewing stories over on Instagram and Facebook, they have had a massive growth spurt again. Violet is now a completely different size than Daisy and Lily. So clothing shopping again for Daisy and Lily because they have had another growth spurt. So I have been busy just finding the best deals that I can because I am a mama on a budget right now. So we are needing shoes and just bigger clothes because everything is getting so tight on my girls right now, as well as the boys. So the boys are a little bit smaller actually than the girls. So they are still in like size 7, size 6, even some size 5 kinds of things. But the girls are now officially like size 8, except for Violet. She's like forever teeny tiny. So anyway, so I've been busy doing that as well. But I'm surprised, like Walmart has had some really good deals lately on some really cute, affordable things. So I need to put in an online order for that as well as Target and some other places of just some things we need. So I will be sharing that in stories. So if you are shopping for kids, for grandkids, and you're needing ideas, I'll just kind of share some of the weekly finds that I have found for my kids. There are some awesome prices. Regina is tuning in. She is from Gulf Breeze, Florida. Welcome. And Judy is tuning in from New Zealand. Judy, we had a bunch of kids come from New Zealand just this last week for a soccer tournament here in Southern Utah. And I think they won for their age group or like their bracket because I had Chad over there and he had posted they were doing, I think, is it called the Haka? I think that's the word for it, right before they went in for their game match for soccer, for their soccer tournament. I think it was called the 7 Elite soccer tournament. So you can look that up, but it was really, really cool. And they did a great job. So that was really fun to see. Let's see. Caitlin says, hello from Boca Raton, Florida. Glad all is well. A happy Valentine's week. And Sandra is from Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. And she is a great grandma. Well, I am excited you get to be a great grandma. I hear it's pretty amazing. And then Carol is tuning in from Buffalo, New York. She says, love you, Jamie, and I love you as well. Denise is tuning in. She's from Arizona. Hi, Denise. And hi, Kim. She's just tuned in over on Facebook as well. And Rose Gray is tuning in from Chicago. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's dive in here. I will share with you guys what I have been gathering. This is not sponsored, but I had to share this company reached out, and you guys would have seen I had made a post for this. The girls were so excited, but the company Petite Maison reached out and sponsored our family with the most beautiful little outfits. And there is a little stain because my daughter just barely wore this, but they sent us the most beautiful little sweatshirts for my girls. And I love these little like rose lavender detailed cute little details on this sweatshirt, and it's the prettiest shade of blue. So I picked out those for the girls, and I typically am not buying like matching stuff now because the girls like to wear their own thing. They call it their own sense of style now, but every once in a while they want to be twins or triplets. So it's very rare I get matching stuff anymore. And then these rose gold colored leggings I thought were so fun. And these do run a little bit big. So if you are going to be doing online shopping, you want to check out Petite Maison. I will leave a link for these, but these do run a little bit big. So I would maybe size down. And then these little flower headbands were so cute. My girls have really been loving headbands as of late, and so getting ready for the day is a lot quicker because I don't really have to do their hair. They can just do their own hair. And yeah, it's just kind of nice. So putting together those outfits is fun. I'll show you guys a close up of what these look like together, but super cute. I thought these were just fun. And you guys know I love everything flowers and gardening and floral. Allison is tuning in. She says, "Good day from Gold Coast, Australia. Welcome. Glad you were here." And Jess West just tuned in. Okay, some of the other things I found, I ran into TJ Maxx. I love shopping TJ Maxx, you guys, and you can shop online at tjmaxx.com and Marshalls. And it is a game changer for me because it's just delivered right to your door like about a week later, I'd say. So if you have an event coming up, they're having tons of clearance on all kinds of things right now. But I did head into the store and found a few things. I found some really cute jeans for my girls, and I just washed these, so they're not steamed or anything. The cutest little embroidery, and it's kind of that cottage core vibe, which I think is so cute. So my girls can make tons of outfits. And then anything with an elastic waistband, I'm a huge fan of because it means it'll fit all three of my girls that are completely different sizes right now. And then I picked up a 4 pack of t-shirts, size 7 for my boys, and they came in all of these colors. So for 4 t-shirts, I think it was like $12.99, which was an awesome deal. It's from the brand Free Planet at TJ Maxx. That is cheaper than Walmart pricing right now. So anyway, picked those up for my boys. And then Lincoln needed a new water bottle. So this is from the brand Hydro Peak, and it was about $10. He had like a Blippy water bottle that I bought like 2 years ago, and I didn't really pay attention to it being Blippy. I just liked the color and it was on Amazon. So I bought it, and Lincoln was like, Blippi's not cool if you're in the second grade. So I just got him a basic water bottle. And then let's see. So yeah, as far as like shopping, those have been the things that I have picked up. And then I was going to share with you guys here. I'll take this little sweatshirt off. Old Navy has been having the cutest things come out early spring. So I picked up this cute little white blouse. I think it was about $12. You can find it online, but I thought the puff sleeves were so cute, and it'll match with a lot of outfits that I have. So as far as like shopping, that is what I purchased in the last week. And then I have been using like a self tanner. I don't know if you ladies are into using self tanner for just a little bit of color in the winter, but I just feel like I don't get out as much as I want to with sunshine. And so having a self tanner just helps a little bit with moisturizing the skin, but also just a little bit of color. So I really like using the Jergens Natural Glow, and this is in the color fair to medium skin tones. And I don't know, after a couple of days, I do notice it just like I don't have to wear as much makeup in the winter, which is kind of nice. So if you were looking for a self tanner, I really like that one, and it's fairly inexpensive, and I just get it through like Amazon or Walmart. So I can leave links for that. Rachel Wilkie says, "Hi friend Rachel, it is good to see you." And then we've got Diane tuning in from Ohio, and Renee Cook is from Lafayette, Louisiana. Welcome. And Shirley Kelly's just tuned in, as well as Linda over on Facebook. Welcome, you guys. Okay, let's dive into some of the questions that came in. This first one is from Mrs. and YJJTATA. She says, the girls are starting to look alike. How do you tell them apart? So I feel like out of all of my children, um, the boys look the most alike, but sometimes people get the girls mixed up. So if you are new or having a hard time telling the girls apart, Violet has darker hair, slightly darker hair, and it's a little bit shorter. And she has a rounder face and a little bit like fuller lips that are like a ruby red color. So that's Violet. And then Daisy is just has like a little bit longer of hair that's slightly wavy, naturally curly, and longer eyelashes. And then as far as Lily, she looks probably the most like Daisy. She has straighter hair, and I don't know, it's like Daisy and Lily are both having a growth spurt. So one is usually thinner than the other, but right now they're both just filling out. So as far as look wise, that's how to tell them apart. But as far as like personality, what you may be seeing on film or on camera, Daisy typically is a little bit more reserved. Lily tends to be a little bit more outgoing. So hopefully that's helpful. And then I had somebody just ask, where is your blouse from? This is from Old Navy. It is so cute. Let me see if I can show you guys a little bit more. Maybe I'll take a picture after this and you guys can see. But it's really cute. It does run a little bit big. I got it for $12 on oldnavy.com. They've had tons of sales with their early spring stuff. I really like this one. It kind of has that like romantic boho chic vibe. And today I have paired it with this cute little sweater I found from TJ Maxx. This was $19. And I kind of like that. I don't know if they call it like granny chic romantic vibe. But I do love that so very much. So anyway, that is where my little blouse is from. And then somebody else just barely said Lily looks the most like me. I would agree with you. I think look wise, Lily looks the most like me out of the girls. Personality wise, I would say Daisy's the most like me. Temperament wise, she's pretty like easygoing, a little bit more soft spoken, but she's becoming a lot more assertive, which is fun to see. Janet says, I think Violet and Daisy look more alike. They are starting to look a little bit more alike, I feel, the older they get. And I don't know, it's just kind of fun to see. Okay, we've got somebody tuning in. She says she is from Gilbert, Arizona. Welcome. I love Gilbert. My favorite place to eat in Gilbert, Arizona is at Joe's. When I was pregnant with the quintuplets, we were working with the Elliott Center for Multiples, and so they took us out to eat. Christina's tuning in from Gilbert, Arizona as well. So we've got Christine and LL Carol 7. You guys are both from Gilbert. And so for me, Joe's is just this charming, like farm to table restaurant where they sell burgers and fries and shakes and all of that. And so they took us out to eat and I loved it. So I just associate it with a lot of good, sweet memories with my boys and the team that worked with Dr. Elliott that helped deliver my babies. So anyway, we love Gilbert, Arizona. Beautiful place, beautiful people. Okay. Okay, so as far as like telling them apart, the boys also look a lot alike, but Lincoln has kind of a thinner face and looks a lot like me, like when I was a child, actually. Sarah says, yes, Lily looks a lot like you. And then Logan has a little bit rounder of a face. And then one of his eyes, so he has blue eyes, but one of his eyes is like brownish orange in color, which is pretty rare right here. So he's pretty proud of that. That's the one thing like visually that sets him apart from his brother. Okay, Sandy says, I've always been able to tell the girls apart. The boys are a different story. I think that is the most common thing people say is that the girls are easier to tell apart, but the boys look so similar. And I feel the same way. Like, yes, totally different. But yeah, I don't know. So everybody's different, but it is just fun. Okay, let's see. The next question is from Dario Canine Companions. She says, how do you manage laundry with all the kids? And then how do you handle meals? And I get asked this question a lot. As far as laundry and meals, I just say simplify where you can because if you're a busy mom and you are juggling family life, kids, working, or if you're a woman in general, balancing life, like you got to simplify where you can. And so for me, um, when I just had my boys and I was married, I would do laundry 3 times a week. If I were to do that now, like, I would never leave the laundry room and I'd be in there a long time. So for me, I choose to simplify. I do the laundry once a week, but I've typically done it like post-divorce once a week on the weeks my kids are gone. So that first day that my kids are gone on a Monday, I bust out all the laundry and I prefer it that way. But now that my kids are getting older, the clothing is getting bigger. And so there's a lot more laundry. And so now I've transitioned to 2 times a week. And that has really simplified my life doing it that way. I really like using the brand All Free and Clear because I have kids with sensitive skin. They break out in hives and rashes if we use anything else but that. So that's what I use along with Downy Fabrics, softener, and bounce dryer sheets. And I shop through Walmart. So that's how I save money as far as like laundry costs with basics. And then as far as meals, again, I have a couple of kids with some sensory processing stuff. So I have some kids that are picky eaters along with food allergies. And so I simplify when it comes to meals, eating things that I know the majority of kids are going to want to eat. Allison's tuned in from Australia. Welcome. And Virginia just tuned in as well. So as far as meals, I do like chicken nuggets. We make parfaits. We do things that are very budget friendly. Um, what are some other basic meals? Sometimes we'll do chicken with like the McCormick packets you can toss in and make. And that's something that the kids will all eat. They all like. I just try and simplify meals. I used to do a lot more cooking when I was a family of four because I had the time, because I had the funds. And so I would cook just very healthy meals. And my boys loved growing up trying all different kinds of foods. But with the quince, it is a little bit different. And so there is some sensitivity there. But I don't really do meal prep. That may be something that I do in the future for my children. But just simplifying is how we do it. Illinois, have you thought of couponing for household items? I used to be big on couponing. I used to have like a binder, and it was almost like a part-time job because I would get the newspaper. I had a friend that worked for the newspaper, and she would bring me like 7 coupon booklets every single week. And so I would go through there and see like how to save money and all of that. And I was actually quite good at it for the time, but I don't feel like I save that much on things that I'm buying every week, like all the basics, right? And so since I shop on Walmart, every once in a while they'll have coupons on items. And then I know, okay, I'll stock up on extra laundry detergent, or I will buy an extra face wash because it's on sale. So as far as coupons, I have found like for me, I'm just buying like very basic, minimal, budget friendly stuff. And so I don't save as much money. I think I would probably spend more money on things that I'm not typically using that typically go on sale, if that makes sense. Now, if I did shop at grocery stores every 3 months, they kind of cycle over with, coupons, and they're trying to move inventory so prices are a little cheaper. So when you can stack both those things, it really works out. But for me, that's how I simplify it. And then I do Walmart delivery, so it comes straight to my house. I love doing that. It's awesome. And then I pay the yearly amount for like the membership for Walmart Plus, and it is amazing because now I don't have to spend all this extra I don't have to spend all this extra time walking around the grocery store and carrying everything into my car, out of my car, back into my house, putting it away. Like it just simplifies so much. So hopefully this is inspiring to some of you if you're trying to think of like, okay, what do I cut back on? How do I budget for this and that? That's how I'm doing it right now. Okay, no one dot says sometimes it's the angle of the kids' faces in a photo that makes Daisy and Violet look very similar. This is Dottie. Dottie, I sure do love you. And you have been there from the very beginning. And we just are so grateful, my family, of the amount of love and support y'all have offered over the years. And sometimes those baby clothes, because some of my favorite pictures are things that you guys have made or sent. And it has just really made a difference in my life and made a very big impact. So thank you. We've got Jan tuning in from Serbia. I think I'm saying that right. Glad you are here. Welcome. Okay, Geraldine just hopped on here as well. Okay, if you guys have questions, you're more than welcome to type them now. I will be looking up at the screen. Darlene says, "Oh, I'm late. Hi from Oregon." Darlene, I was about 5 minutes late too, so it's okay. Juggling all the things in life, but I'm glad you're here, and it is so fun. Like I feel like we have such a special group, primarily of women. I think 1 to 2% of the audience that views my channel is male, so that's a very small amount, and so, I find myself mostly speaking to the women, but we do have a portion that, are not, so welcome. Okay, next question is from Austin Dean. What books do you recommend to read to my daughter's kindergarten class? So I actually had just organized my kids' bookcase, so that when they come home and do their reading, they're not reading like baby books because it's just easier to read toddler books for them. But she is specifically asking about reading in a kindergarten classroom. So I went through and found some books that I thought were fun reads for kindergarten classes. And then my kids' hands down favorite book to read in a classroom setting. So here we go with number one, Dear Zoo. This is by Rod Campbell. You can get these on Amazon. But I think like I love thrifting, especially for children's books, because you can get really inexpensive classic books all the time. My kids love this one still, and they're in the second grade because it is a lift the flap book. And so the anticipation for little kids is pretty fun because it's like they're rewarded for continuing to the next page. So my kids really like this one. This does come in like a bigger book. This is just the one I randomly grabbed before I hopped on for this live video. Second one, my kids still love this. They're in the second grade. This is Harry the Dirty Dog. This is a classic. It's by Jean Zion. My kids love this one. It's about a dog named Harry that won't take a bath. And it is really relatable for my kids, especially on the days and they don't want to shower, they don't want to take a bath, and they're smelly and stinky. So it's kind of a funny story that is just kind of endearing about a little dog. And then I don't know. There's kind of some clever humor in it. So I think little kids in kindergarten will love it. And a lot of these books, these are the smaller versions I just quickly grabbed, but we've had them in larger versions as well. So a classroom setting, all the kids could read it. But that one is fun. I love this book, you guys. It is so good. Little Blue Truck is a classic in my home. And this is by Alice Schertle, I think is how you say it. And I really love it because it's a book about doing good and being grateful for what you have. It's about kindness and it's about helping others along the way, which having quintuplets and a large family, I'm always saying to my kids, it's important that we work together. We're a family, we're a team. They hate that I say it, but it's so true. And so this book kind of teaches what it means to stop along the way and help others. And in the end, like Little Blue Truck is just like so sweet and so kind. So we love that one. Okay, this one has been around forever. I love this one. Brown Bear, What Do You See? And this really is, kind of a classroom setting, but it's fun to read. This is by Bill Martin Jr. and Eric Carle. And a lot of Eric Carle's stuff has become like, I don't know, like made a comeback, I think, since his passing. I'm pretty sure he just barely passed away in the last several years. So my kids love this one as well. Hands down, though, this is the favorite book. And if you want a classroom favorite, this one is good. Gina, I'm going to get to your question here in just a minute. The Book with No Pictures by BJ Novak. This is so fun to read with kids. And if you were new, um, my kids love handing this to someone who's never read this before because it's really funny. And BJ Novak is the guy that he was one of the guys that was in The Office. He's also one of the writers of The Office. It's really funny. This book, seriously, you guys, has zero pictures. And so if you want something fun to keep at your house to read with the kids, with the grandkids, or you want to surprise another adult, hand them this book because then when they sit down with the kids to read, it really is I just feel like the storyline creates this bonding with kids and it creates engagement and creativity, and there's no pictures, so you have to use your voice and read every single word that's on the page, and it's really funny. So, I would say if you're gonna read something in kindergarten, this one is really, really funny. My kids love it. Okay, Chris the Fish says, "Will the quintuplets be getting baptized?" I hope so. They will be turning 8. Sorry, that's my timer to go pick up Landon here. They'll be turning 8 in March, and so we are planning on them becoming oops. Sorry, you guys, if you are on Facebook, I just lost connection there for a hot minute. Um, so they are turning 8. I'm planning on them all being baptized. So in the next little while, I will let you guys know if that is the case. So anyway, they are looking forward to that. And in my faith, at 8 years old, children have the agency and option to decide if they want to be baptized. And so I don't know, it's kind of cool. So they're excited about that. Okay. VLMC 9703 says, Jamie, I've been following you since the Quints were born. My kids have also watched your kids grow. It's so amazing how many years have passed and how beautiful your family still is. That's one thing I've been reflecting back on. I think with the quintuplets turning 8 here, I kind of go into this time of reflection of like how far we've come on this journey of ours and how things look very different than they did at the onset of finding out I was pregnant with quintuplets, right? Like I didn't know what the end was going to look like, didn't know that I was going to have a life that looked the way it does now. And it's just as beautiful and just as full. Even though sometimes it looks different, life is still beautiful. So those have kind of been my reflections midway through the week that I have been thinking about with the upcoming birthday of the quintuplets. I had a question from Gina come in. How is little grandma doing? She is doing well. She has just been doing all the spring cleaning. And I did get to help a little bit with that. And so I came across some really cool things about my family history. And I have just done on Sunday like this deep dive about my family history, my ties, my roots, some of their stories, some of the hard things, the pioneering, the things they did. And I'm just really proud of that history. And things I didn't know about my family. I didn't know I had ancestry from Scotland. There's still kind of a mystery about my Native American heritage because a lot of that was lost with record keeping over the years. So that part was kind of fun to see some of that and hear the stories about family. I think the coolest thing, and I should have pulled it out. I thought about it last week and then I forgot. But my grandfather had made a shadow box of some really cool things from his family history. A purse from the 1904 World's Fair was in there, this leather purse, so cool. And then a stethoscope that belonged to my grandmother, that was a midwife in the Phoenix Valley area for years and years and years and delivered so many babies. And I came across that in the family history that there's a lot of people that may never know her name, that she was the one that helped deliver their baby. And so I just thought that was kind of cool uncovering that this last Sunday. So I don't know, maybe I'll snap a picture and I'll share that in my story so you can see that. But that is what we've been up to over this last little week here. As far as Valentine's Day, I've got Shaden and Tatum that'll be coming into town here. I am so excited to see them. I just love them both so very much. So I'm excited. I think they get in late tonight, I want to say. So excited about that. As far as Valentine's plans, I'm looking forward to spending that with Chad. And I think we're going to make pasta. That was something on our first date. He potentially asked, hey, like as we were getting to know each other, do you want to come to my place and make pasta? And since I didn't know him, I just said no. So I'm like 2 years later, I'm finally ready to make pasta. So we're going to go do that. I've never made actual pasta before. So that'll kind of be a new experience. But what are your plans for Valentine's Day? Are you doing like a Galentine's Day, hanging out with your favorite gals? Do you do date nights? Do you spend it with your kids? Do you spend it at home and are just at peace with it just being by yourself? Because sometimes that is a gift too, to just have some quiet peace. So, anyway, what are your Valentine's Day plans? I would love to know. So, leave them in the comments. I am going to jet though, because I've got to go pick up Landon so that I am on time here. But I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in every Wednesday. Thanks for cheering on my family. I love each one of you. I hope you have a blessed week, a wonderful Valentine's Day, and you are able to spend it, as Rachel Wilkie says, sleeping or living it up or spending that time with your loved ones. Love you guys. Hope you have a great week and stay tuned. I will be sharing more of what we've been up to. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And I will see you all real soon again. Bye. See you later, guys.